I want to reminisce with you a little bit. And I want to share with you some experiences that I had as I was growing up that have really given me the love and the appreciation for music that I have now. And there is no better place to start than at the very beginning. Now, my dad said I was 2 years old when I sang my first solo in church. And I have to admit, I don't remember that. That's a long way back for me to think, as I'm an old lady now. I am 26 years old. I know, over the hill. And I realize probably none of you were there on that particular Sunday evening in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. But if you had been there, you just might have heard something that sounded a little bit like this.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong that are weak, but my God is strong.
I think you sort of get the idea on that. I do not need to go on. Well, my mother is one of the finest piano players that I know, and she could not let her kids go through life without taking those infamous piano lessons. And I am just curious, how many of you have had piano lessons at one time or another? Let me hear your hands. Oh, boy. Well, you are going to relate to this. Now, do you remember a book that was about maybe this tall and about this wide? And when I had it, it was red and white on the front. Anybody remember that book? Yeah. Well, this is what I sounded like in John Thompson, Book 1. Well, after 3 very successful years in Book 1, I finally graduated to Book 2. Now, my mother would practice with me every day when I came home from school. And I remember one day she was so excited. She said, "Sandy, you've really done well these last 3 years in Book 1. Today, as we begin Book 2, something really exciting is going to happen. Today, you get to add your left hand." Trying to find that crazy note. Well, finally, my mother had to tell me, "Sandy, I think you might be looking for F sharp." I hated, and still to this day, hate flats and sharps so much. Well, it was finally on to Book 3. I continued studying piano lessons through elementary school and junior high, on into a little bit of high school. Now, it was around my sophomore year in high school, around 10th grade. I started getting a lot more interested in singing rather than playing the piano. And I remember a lot of crazy things were going on in my life when I was in 10th grade. I was having a very big identity crisis. I didn't know who I was or what my involvement was going to be in music or in life. And I remember I was very impressionable. And I would listen literally by hours and hours to different singers, hoping that, I could kind of find an answer to this identity crisis I was having. And there was one singer in particular. She had the answer. Because every time I sang, I not only just wanted to sing like Karen Carpenter, but I wanted to be Karen Carpenter. Jesus loves me. This sadness for the Bible tells me so. Well, I finally made it to my senior year in high school, and I tell you, I just had to look back on my sophomore year and just laugh out of embarrassment. I was so immature when I was a sophomore. And you see, I realized all of this now, of course, because I was such a mature senior in high school. And I realized it was so silly and so ridiculous and so immature of me to want to be Karen Carpenter. Because now I wanted to be Barbra Streisand. Little people to him Well, believe it or not, I did graduate from high school. And I was on my way from San Diego, California, to a wonderful Christian college in Indiana called Anderson College, where I wanted to go. Well, I wanted to go to Anderson College and study music. Now, I knew, however, that when I got to college, I was going to have to start getting quite serious about music. And no more pop stuff, no more fun stuff. It was all going to have to be real music. Jesus loves me. Things I know. You guys are bigger hams than I am. I probably need to stop right here and explain a few things. Now, I realize that when I kind of get fooling around with that song, Jesus Loves Me, I know some people think I am out to destroy the most wonderful song in the whole world, and believe me, that is not why I use that song. But I use that song probably very much like a pastor will use an illustration. And that is to get across a point to you, because through all the crazy times in my life, Jesus' love has always been right here for me. And he has never let me down. And he doesn't want me to be Karen Carpenter or Barbara Streisand. He just wants me to be the best me that I can be. And I am so glad that I can come to Jesus just like I am. And then with his help, I can become the real child of God that he's always wanted me to be. Aren't you glad we have a friend like Jesus who loves us so much? Amen. Jesus loves me. This I know, for the Bible tells me so. And the little ones to him belong. We all are so weak, but he is so strong. I know we all know this chorus. Would you sing it with me? Add some parts and let's just make it ring. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. That's beautiful. Sing that. Oh, yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Sing that last line just one more time. The Bible tells me so. That's a song that probably all of us have sung since we were just about knee-high. And it's such a simple truth. But Jesus built his church on such simple truths. And Jesus calls us to be just like him. And sometimes being like Jesus is so opposite of what the world thinks we ought to be. We become a servant when the world says, hey, be a leader, be strong. We give ourselves away for nothing in return. Jesus says, upon these principles, you are my church, and on you I can build my kingdom.